Okay. I have a card, an oracle card for you for this collective that I pulled very slowly. I'm really sat with it. And I'm going to incorporate it into other pieces that I felt I wanted to share. I posted a read yesterday, which, and I find this too when I do a read, I'm like, oh, this absolutely could apply to me as well, which is kind of something I find beautiful because we can all be going through something where a set of words applies to our situation, and yet the situations are completely different from each other, and we pick up on different words, and that's why I allow what words intuitively come out of me to be a part of it, even if they don't necessarily resonate with me, because I know that they're coming through for a specific reason, especially when I'm like intentionally in a space of reading for a collective's highest good. And I did a read specifically for myself today about the kind of just like a basic past, present, future of my business, or like opening up Reiki and reads, which it's not named that, but I'm kind of liking the vibe of it. Anyway, and I was getting this message back about like, okay, there isn't like a ton of structure and self-discipline currently, but which is like remnant of my life, which I feel like things kind of fall into place and then I move along with it in a flow state. And sometimes that can get a little bit like, did you get everything done though? Like, and is it being done in a methodical way? And so then the logical side is something that, is easier when it's imposed by a schedule or something like that for me. But I'm in charge of my own schedule right now. And I'm very good at the intuitive moving through things and finding my way along the path, which like totally ties in with the card I'm doing. But this business, this like offering reads to people, offering the channeled messages that I've only been doing for the collective, and for myself to others, to personal individual humans, is like incredibly a heart-led thing. I'm not doing it because it makes money or because of any other reason than like it literally is my purpose. There are so many purposes to my existence, and that's also something subjective to any person that might meet me would have a different version of what they're going to say based on what I would say. But like, my life has been this. I have not chosen conventional things in life so that it would lead me to this very moment, to being able to provide these things, this perspective. Sometimes I will feel like, oh yeah, teachings or advice, but mostly it's more like, hey, I've experienced this, I've moved through it, and I have a perspective based on putting 100% of my life into like living existence in a pushing boundaries way, in a learning through the hard way, some of the times, in not ever allowing myself to get like distracted by anything that someone else said I was supposed to be doing at that point in time, based on age, based on whatever the fuck factors that lead us to tick boxes instead of follow our heart or our intuition. And also, some people's path is to do what seems to be put under the realm of conventional. And so, like, you will know what's right for you. This is not in any way a judgment of any path. This is a place of like acceptance of, and conscious acceptance of, okay, I'm okay with the path that I'm on right now. Or if I'm not, how do I change that? But more importantly, what parts are within me that were leading me to not move along the path that like is most aligned with my highest good, or that fulfills me the most, to put it in like the easiest way to maybe understand. Um and multiple times I've thought that there was like this is the reason. Oh, that's what I have to do. Oh, this is the thing that fulfills me. And like continuously it came back to teaching me lesson after lesson. I'm like, oh my God, I'm like here to exist. Let's see where that goes. And I'm really grateful to have like a lot more of a grasp on it. But it also means that the read that I put out yesterday felt like it was coming from a place of like, I knew I wanted to announce that I have these services available, particularly the Reiki, because it's not one that I have really brought to anyone that I don't like know in person before. Um, and like charged for it. So that's why the prices dropped right now, because I figured it was just kind of an easier place to begin at, of like it's like half, third of the price that it might be in the future. But also because those kinds of services are usually a little bit of an inaccessible price to like most people. And so I figured this was a nice place to start and open it up to those who maybe haven't been able to give that to themselves before, particularly because Reiki is not massage. It's not, you know, a hands-on thing. And while that can be so, like much more comfortable for people because they're not being touched, it is not something that like we have as a species fully grasped the understanding maybe of fully yet. Like you can read, oh, it's like energy work. But like, yeah, it's something that I just really enlivens me and fulfills me and is sorry, it said 555 in the timer when I said that. Like it changed everything when I realized that it was something that I could practice. And I love helping people in that realm because it's how I understand life and existence. And I feel so, so fulfilled. Um, and like, I don't even have a better word than that in being able to be there for people in a way where it's like, I've walked a similar path and I will hold your hand on this in one way, shape, or form. Because you have got this, and anything you don't got, you are got. Like, you're so much more protected and so much more loved than I think that we can even feel and understand sometimes through our human body's experience of those words. And it's like, to be frank, overwhelming at times when I really allow myself to feel that amount of protection and love from those that surround me and that I've gotten to know through my practice. And I want to bring that to other people, but mostly I don't want to provide it for you. I want to allow a space in which you can find that for yourself and remember it every single day, and or like as often as you need. Because to be absolutely honest, it's something that like I have known for a long time and I have felt in incremental moments over a long space of years. But like it took me a long time of working out all of the things within that fight to feel that safe and protected every day. Um, yeah, to find a place of like faith and trust in the things that are around, because in that space all of a sudden like the ultimate amount of that protection and love is allowed within yourself. It's actually occurring more often. I don't know if that's being said right, but also I want to not harp on a bunch. But yeah, I didn't feel as though I'm going to leave that other read up because I think that it has merit. There's stuff in it for someone out there. I know that. But it also felt a little bit like it was in a rush. I was trying to like read quickly, like in the way that, you know, an ad would move. And like, so, so to like show, oh, look, hey, I like can do this for you. And like, hopefully it resonates with you. And maybe that, like, I mean, you know, I'm not always like the calmest river in the world. I am not a static being whatsoever. I'm a human. I will be very intentional when I'm bringing it like in an energy to people, but at the same time, something like that can happen where I'm like, oh, I gotta like tell people about this thing. And then I kind of just felt today like, okay, I'm getting this card about being heart led. Like, I would like to come on here and be a bit more vulnerable about like how much this means to me to be able to bring this practice to other people and to share it. And to say that, you know, like I am learning at this and I have had experiences of trying to like self promote before. And not only does that butt up against like all of the lessons around self worth that I was learning, but it's like a confidence in what it is I'm providing and stuff like that. And then I realized when I'm reading this, I'm like, this is me though. What I am now providing based compared to stuff that I have maybe like tried to put out in the past, like singing is me and like I love to crochet and stuff like that, but this is like my raison d'etre. I don't like know another way to say it. It just is me and I am it, and it's why I am here. So hi. And I'm gonna read because I pulled a card and then I'm like, okay, maybe I'm gonna pull from this like other oracle deck as well because I feel like it's just so um gentle and loving or something, but also really encouraging in its words. And so I figured I would actually read from the book of it because then the wording is there for you um to listen to. But before that, I pulled one from this beautiful deck. Oh my God, I'm so glad I bought it. Like it just called out to me, and it's not my normal style art-wise or whatever. But does it know me? I mean, seriously. So like trust those things. It's usually the first thing that comes to mind. So the card that came out is this. It's 24 beloved. It's probably going to be backwards. We have love, reciprocity, intertwinement. And obviously this can seem like a sort of lover's vibe, but this is a lot more to do with like realizing the energy that surrounds you, that loves you. And in a sense also is you because we're each individual projections of the universe. And so like we are the all and we are one, 4 ones. And we are an individual experiencing life, and that autonomy, that individuality is very important to the mass multiple amounts of perspectives that make up the entirety of what existence is, at the same time as understanding that we're a collective and a community and we are all experiencing this like, I don't know, what are you, I don't know why I'm here, what are you doing here, like and when we move into a space of maybe being a bit more vulnerable around that, which I see us doing left, right, and center, and I am very proud to be a part of this moment in humanity, to have come here for this transition. Um, this is like, for one way to put it, your higher self looking over you, seeing this like just caring, loving, like, I'm going to stare at you and in a loving way, and all these flowers are like right around you and you're maybe just looking ahead and not seeing like all of this abundance that just is emanating from your being as you move. What else had come out was the Stand, which I feel like is a very strength card, and it's 40, but it has this female figure and a tiger. 1, 2, 3, 4. Courage, determination, and fearlessness, which, like, to know that you are loved by the universe itself, by source, by angels, by guides and guardians, by ancestors of your blood or of your soul, by past beings, pets, loved ones, whatever way it is you understand the unseen, the spirit world, the guides and guardians that are there for you at any time, or deities, or whatever it is that you work with or understand. Because, like, I'm not here to direct that. I think that that is very important that each individual knows what that is for themselves. And so I could sum it up as the divine entities and beings, but always knowing that, like, the divine is in you. You're not separate from it. You're not like this little lay person that these greater beings are watching over and helping. Like, we have very much had this idea in our species that there's like an externalized power, which therefore leaves a gap and a vacuum where people can step in and take our power away from us. Now, that's a very purposeful structure that has been inserted into our psyche and stuff and our structures of humanity. But it's also the way that, like, when our self-worth is low, when our maybe lack of wanting to take responsibility for actually like changing existence to be heaven on earth, is within us, then like we're like, oh, someone else will do it. Someone else is in charge. Like, I'm not the one that's going to be in charge of this. Like, I'll pray to something that's separate from me, and not to get down on prayer, or to say that you're all in control of everything that's around you, because we do not control other humans. We don't control anything that's outside of our own response to things. And there is a collective way that this can change big time. But literally, every single time I get to the depth and the crux of the how, of the like what to do, whatever it is about knowing our own individual worth. in our own selves. And that is what changes everything outside of ourselves. Because when we're acting from a place of that amount of worth, of that amount of value, you know that you are of inherent value simply because you exist. What kind of world do you think that we individually would create as a community if that's, like, as in our individual actions and words and such through that? It would be a completely different world. And it's starting now. It's already begun. Like, we're absolutely on our path, on the way there. And you're as much of an important piece to it as any person that sits in a place of power, as any of the planets, as any fucking thing in this entire universe. You matter as much as everything else that is within existence. And so you deserve to feel that amount of love and to know that you are that loved. And yes, to give yourself that love. But I think that there's something to knowing that there's like an external reflection of that. When you know it inside of yourself, you're not alone in loving yourself that much, especially when you start acting it in your life, speaking in terms of knowing that. It's reflected back to you. And what I like to say in these moments is, don't always look to the humans that currently surround you to reflect back these things that you grow into knowing about yourself. Because nature will reflect it back. Random numbers on a bus, like a song on a radio, silly occurrences. Like I walked down the stairs last night and everything was dark because I'm a night owl. And I was like, oh man, it's so dark down here. And literally the second I said that, a sensor light went off in the neighbor's house and it lit up the entire hall. And like, that stuff is not so coincidences. That is like exactly the kind of stuff that when you're aware of it too, you're like, fuck, I'm heard and I'm loved. And like, I wish every moment that I have occurred, that is, I have experienced like that for other people. And so then the next deck that I picked from, because it's the Hummingbird deck, which I just love so much, and actually is a more recent one and has like the best book smell. Like, I cannot get past the smell of this book. It's so beautiful. I hope it never fades. And the Fly with Faith card came up, and then this like a gentle touch. Oh yeah, to finish that other point, it takes immense strength, ironically, to surrender and be vulnerable and allow that amount of love to be received by yourself. So, yeah, so you can know that about yourself as you move through this. Like, you're strong as all get out, and I'm trying to not curse like too much. Like, fuck. You're strong as fuck. And that does not necessarily mean that you are physically strong. It doesn't necessarily mean that you should be going through any hard moment alone. It means that you're strong as fuck. Therefore, you know that you can be vulnerable and that you've got you through that vulnerability, regardless of what anyone else has to say about it. That's how I'm doing this shit now. I had to get to that place for myself to be able to be like, look, I hear things. I channel messages. I am in communication with beings that are around me that I can't see. And I'm not scared to say that out loud anymore. And I've just cherished like ridiculous amounts those who like videos, that subscribe, that share the things that like are gonna come for readings, like any. Oh, it's so beautiful. I mean, also my child self is getting hella validation. So even if it's just me that was like watching these things, it would be amazing. But the fact that other people resonate, like, oh, just okay, I'm not gonna cry, which would be okay. I want to focus. So the gentle, heart-led, but also with some discipline. The gentle touch card just brings me so much comfort. I'm gonna like hold it up and it's not gonna probably focus, which is like, I should probably do this on the non-front facing camera, but this is where we're at. It's just the lighting of it and the like bowed head of this deer and the bowed head, and it's like every lighting on this is so gentle, but it's about like the softness of a feather brushing your skin. Be sweet and kind to yourself and others. And this is like this vulnerability, this place of just like softness that, I don't know, I want to say that some people can feel ashamed for allowing themselves to feel. That's not normally a sentence that I would say, but it's what wanted to come out. Also, what I got when I heard feather there, I'm like, I gotta say this too, start noticing. You don't have to always pick them up, feathers on your path, though. Maybe look into like the color meanings of like what each feather is, or even like what bird they come from, and get to know the birds in your area and stuff like that. Because they're a really good way to start understanding like guidance from an angelic being, or whatever wording you want to use, because I understand that angels are kind of a lot of the time correlated with like Catholicism or Christianity, and that's not necessarily the way that I at all understand them now. That had to be worked on, though, because now I see them as like multi-winged eyeballs, as such of the art that we can see coming out of like really beautiful artists. And also they're just like a cloud, they're a bird, they're a plane. No, it's Superman. Okay. I have to do it. Fly with faith. Okay, this is the one I wanted to read out loud. Ouch. But trust your sturdy wings and know that the universe is working its magic on your behalf. And like the way that it tied in to this one, where it's like you're supported, I was just like, ah, oh my god, yeah, absolutely, like vibe. This feels like yeah, I was gonna say like a new moon, but actually it's more like an eclipse vibe because of the way that the lighting is, which is like this one being crossing paths with another, and like they're not necessarily always like right in front of each other or right in like direct awareness of each other, but at all times both the moon and the sun are playing in this beautiful balance of unity. You are supported out there, no matter how far it is you feel like you are from that support system, be it unseen or human or pet or whatever, or tree. But yeah, I will read the card now. Let me hold this up, actually. Okay. Whoop-ah. There we go. Just as the hummingbird knows that it will find nectar, the nectar that it needs to survive, even on the longest, most harrowing journeys, you are being asked to trust that the universe is truly on your side, and that everything will work out more perfectly than you can imagine. Royal Hummingbird reminds you that there are so many things in your world that you easily trust, such as the sun rising in the morning and the oxygen being available to fill your lungs. Yet often you find it difficult to trust yourself, maybe others, or even the greater good that is always flowing to you from the universe. Perhaps past disappointments or ego-based fears are clouding your ability to find optimism. Even though you may not see the fruits of your efforts or the answers to your prayers, you are being asked to have continued faith and believe in the promise of the blossoming rose. You only need to surrender. Let go as best you can and trust. Take a few deep inhales, letting the air out with a loud verbal sigh each time, and feel your body begin to relax. Then imagine a dozen hummingbirds hovering in front of you, holding a beautiful empty basket. Fill the basket with your worries, your concerns, your fears, and feel the relief as the hummingbirds fly off into the heavens, carrying your burdens away. Let go of how you think things should be. Let go of needing to control circumstances, details, or other people. Let go of anything and everything that is keeping you from knowing your true beauty and worth. Relax into peace and freedom of knowing that everything is exactly as it should be. When you do this, you allow the universe to work its magic on your behalf. Ride on the powerful, supportive wings of Royal Hummingbird and fly with faith. And then there is an affirmation. I trust myself, others, and the universe, and know that everything is working out for my highest good. Now, if you have any interest in me speaking on my relationship with faith, I will be okay with. That's what felt right to say. It's a hard one to, put in like one video. And I've just had I had the issue with the word angels for such a long time because of the connection to my upbringing as like an enforced Catholicism fucking way of life. And like, I know that that's other people's path, and it's not for anyone to say what you should and should not like take as far as pieces from that moving forward. And like, I just fully rejected it for many years because that's what felt right to me. And so always refer to that, what feels right to you at any given time. Heck, I've also noticed anything that I'm like, oh, I hate this. I hate pepper. I don't like pepper. I don't want to eat any pepper. And now I can't get enough of pepper. And it's like, what is this? What's happening with this? Like, I have to almost go from one end of the spectrum to the other to learn, not with all things, but like funny things like that, where I'm like, what happened there? Funny, what's underneath that card is actually the law of attraction. Turn toward the beauty, the love, the sweet joy you desire. But sometimes I think what I will say on it, just for like, it feels like the most kind of called thing, is like when we think about faith or desires or sort of prayers, but like things that we're working towards, or like, oh, I felt like I've had enough faith or positive affirmations or work in one way, shape, or form that I'm doing, and I don't see something come to fruition yet. And that's real. Okay, like, you're not the only one experiencing that. Like, when we look on, social media and people are writing about manifestation, I could speak for a long time on my thoughts about the way that we currently understand manifestation with a capitalistic mindset and without the understanding of responsibility to the entire collective. I mean, that's kind of, I shortened it pretty well there. But I'll make another video speaking about that at another stage. I would encourage, though, because it's like, for a long time I was writing like way down the line projections of what it is I want my life to look like. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing to have in mind, with understanding that life can take you in any given direction, and to be open to that as well, because like, you can know what looks like the best possible outcome from a certain perspective, and then you grow and learn and life a bit, and you're like, ooh, this actually would be better now instead, and like, and change that up. And like, at all times then you would be working on a path towards one or other of these things. But with things so large and grand and way off in the future, it can be difficult to like see or know that things are in the works for you because they are so far down the line, or maybe because they're like large, and like, people will go, oh yeah, just write down this amount of money and then like eventually it'll come to you, kind of a thing. And like, it has worked for some people. It can work, absolutely. But I also feel like, from my experience, it took like almost going smaller first to areas in which I was able to, like, in a neutral space, believe that that was going to happen, and then seeing that come true and feeling like what felt right to me and what didn't work for me and stuff like that in the process of moving towards that. Because obviously you're on a team here. You will be met halfway always by the universe and by source, and you show up halfway, but that doesn't mean that you control the outcome or what it is that source brings to the table, and it doesn't mean that you just write it down and like, and leave it. Depending. But yeah, this is something I think that is almost like quite individual, because it depends on where you're coming from with your belief about this, with your belief around worth and whether you're worthy of something coming to fruition or not. And like, even when we're doing the work and feeling worthy and feeling like we're doing the positive affirmations and stuff, it also may be that then the universe sees an even better way that it could go for you. But because we're so focused on it being this one thing, we then maybe miss an opportunity of like something else that's being offered, or another way of it occurring. I mean, thing is, you are always exactly where you're supposed to be. There is no like right or wrong, except for like, obviously, if you're harming people or purposely, intentionally, bringing negativity to our energy grid, because the heck. But like, what I would say around it is mostly just give yourself a break. Because this is very new to all humans. Some people will be like, oh yeah, this is the way that I got all of these things all in a month or whatever it is. And maybe that's their journey to figure that out within a month and then show up as a challenge in everyone else's life, as far as like showing us like, ooh, why do I feel like not able to do that? Like it's not that you're doing anything wrong. You're doing what is aligned for you in that moment. And then there is always space to learn from it. But like, starting in the place of feeling the love, feeling the worthiness, feeling the value that you inherently have and are a part of, is kind of the best place to start, because it looks inward in a way that will show in your outer life. But yeah, I think I will leave it at that for now. Oh, actually, there was an affirmation that I realized was like in this book that I didn't read for you. So I will leave you on that note. And of course, if you want to book a reading with me, the link is wovenexistence.com. I can explain that name another day, but I'm doing it via Ko-fi, because I already had that set up, and maybe I will do a website at some point, but this feels like the easiest thing for me at this moment. So I'm doing tarot reads and channeled reads, and there is Reiki also available with like an extra channeled read, which like, I think I'm just really excited to do those, because it's not something that, I don't know, whatever. Okay, but I'm not gonna go into it right now. Just like go read the descriptions and see what vibes with you. And I have like multiple different like price options for accessibility reasons. Like yeah, I would love to like make a living out of this. I'm also, doing other things that are this is not the only thing, but mostly I just love doing it so much. Like, so right now this is the prices that I have, and they may change, but yeah, always get in touch, see what can be worked out, because your journey matters. And if I am someone that you resonate with, like, that matters to me anyway. So okay, I'm excited to see you over there, and here is the affirmation. I embrace, accept, and reciprocate the love that is bestowed upon me from the universe. Now stand, sit, whatever it is, with your palms open and up for these, especially when you're talking about receiving, because it can bring into a physical way of it. What I'll also say is what I've started doing when I speak affirmations of receiving, I think of, as much as available, every single cell in my entire body, in my physical form. Sure, in your auric form, any ways that you understand this is fine, but like, it's so that you're saying these words that every single cell that is inside of your body hears you and realizes this is the frequency that we are now moving at. It's not just your brain, it's not just your heart, you're not just like saying it to something outside of yourself. You are saying this so that your entire body goes, ah, this is what we're resonating as. And it takes as many times as it takes to, believe these things, or to believe it outside of the moment. Because like this sort of stuff, it becomes habit. It has happened to me. It becomes habit. I say thank you for the most ridiculous stuff now, but I didn't used to walk around the world like that. Gratitude has like absolutely taken over my mindset, and it forms as a habit eventually. I promise you. I embrace, accept, and reciprocate the love that is bestowed upon me from the universe. We're doing the other one again as well. Palms up. I trust myself, others, and the universe, and know that everything is working out for my highest good. The emphasis can really help, I find. And then allow, your body to just feel happy and resonate at that frequency for a moment and say it as many times as you would like. Um, and then with or without music, do a little boogie and just like, celebrate that so that it reminds your physical form, your mind, your all of you to like celebrate you doing these kinds of things for yourself and engaging in this kind of love and acceptance and self-worth because like it's fucking strong. It's strong, it's fearless. It's literally helping the entire energetic grid and collective that our human species lives amongst, but also the whole universe feels all of the frequencies within the universe. You're a part of that. Okay. So I will leave you with that. And I love you so much for existing at the same time as me and for listening. Goodbye.